Good evening, everybody. I am Gina B, and here with me, somewhere in the airwaves, is Mama D. She is desperately trying to get her way back here. So she's having internet issues, and our guest is having internet issues as well. But she's with us. And I will, as I usually do, I will play her bio video, and then she will be with me when that ends, and hopefully so will Mama D. So we'll see you in a couple minutes. Good evening. I am Gina B here with Mama D every Thursday evening right here in the Fox Den. Tonight we have Mara Bishop. She has worked in the fields of intuition and shamanism since 1995. Tonight we will be talking about her life and her books, Shamanism for Every Day, 365 Journeys, and Inner Divinity, Crafting Your Life with Sacred Intelligence. Her personal evolution counseling method provides an integrated approach to spiritual healing, personal growth, and emotional well-being. And her energy ecosystem program helps participants create healthy, flexible, energetic boundaries. Mara is a regular guest speaker through universities, research centers, and wellness centers, and her background includes training in psychology from Columbia University, Teachers College, Spirituality Mind-Body Institute, and shamanism at the Foundation for Shamanic Studies. She is a founding member of the Society for Shamanic Practice and a leader in Shamanism Without Borders program. You can learn more about Mara and all she has to offer at www.wholespirit.com. And we welcome you to the Fox Den, Mara. Well, here she is, and she's in Mama D's spot right now. Oh, and we might have Mama D. Well, we have. Oh, here
Almost.
we go. Not yet. Not yet.
Not sure. Not sure.
All right. Not sure if you're
Let
going
me
to
guess.
put you here for now, and we can hear you. So, yay! Hi, Anna. Hi, Michelle. I know you're doing some kind of a thing, but I can't see it until the show's done. But because she always puts up cute little emojis and things, and I can't really see them on the side of the screen. But welcome, Mara.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
I am so glad that you were able to be with us and both of you guys having your issues, but I'm not. So if they blink out, then hey, guess what?
It's all you.
It'll be me, and you guys can just battle, come back in if it happens. But Mara, you are not home right now, and we appreciate you being with us while you're away and you're working. So would you like to tell us where you are, what you're doing?
Sure. I am in beautiful Colorado, and I'm in a hotel room right now. And so we were having a little Wi-Fi issue. We did a lot of tests earlier, and it was working great. And then we went to get on, and there was nothing. So we worked it out. We worked it out so far. But
Right.
I have had the great pleasure of creating an audio course with Sounds True and the wonderful people over there at Sounds True. And it's about energetic boundaries. I know in the intro you mentioned my energy ecosystem program, and this is a
Right.
kind of a variant on that called Shining Bright Without Burning Out. And it's about
Oh, we need that.
right. We really do.
Yeah.
So many of us just need it, and it's about creating tools, spiritual tools for being able to adjust your energetic boundaries in our extraordinarily interconnected, or according to the title of that course, over-connected world. So that'll be an audio program, and it comes out in the springtime.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome. And where will they be able to get that?
They can get it through Sounds True directly. I know that even on Amazon, I think you can pre-order the CDs, but it'll be a download, and then you can also get if you still like to have the hard copies of things, you can get it. So probably through all the places where you would normally get audio programs, you'll be able to do that, but definitely through Sounds True.
Okay. She's going to co-host from the chat room. She can't get back. I'm so sorry, Mama D. Well, you can put in the links and everything there. You can ask your questions from there. We'll put them up like you were here. I should put a little thing down there with your picture on it. Well, what are you gonna do? It happens, It happens to the best of us. Oh, she's crying now. She's I love you. I love you. I know this is like our time. This is our time. We get to spend together. Damn internet.
And she told me she was having a hard time getting my book in Canada, which is
yeah. She
so
said it
I'm
wasn't
gonna get her
available.
one,
Yeah, I know. And this is the book. This is the book we're talking about. It is down below Mara right there. So there's the two books that she's done, but this is the one that we're basically going to be talking about today. And I have told you when I first talked to you, I said this is the best book to have on your nightstand because you can start your day. You can start your day. You can go along, maybe mark your page where you were and go day by day by day. Or you can just, all right, what am I feeling today? Or pick a number, have a number come. Their journeys, all the journeys are numbered. You can pick a page number. It doesn't really matter. This is, it's awesome. It's truly awesome. My friend Tammy was here over the weekend, and I did tell you this, but I'm going to share it with everybody else. Well, she goes, oh, well, who's your guest this week? And I said, it's Mara Bishop. She goes, oh, do you have to read a book? Because she knows I have to read a book every week. I said, well, I don't really have to read a book. I have to read passages when I see fit,
No.
And then she's like, oh, I said, yeah, because you can just pick a page. And she's like, oh, I need that. She opened it up to the most perfect page for what she is going through right now, in her life, and she was floored. So, this will can help a lot of people, and really have it handy. Have it handy, and it's a great size to have on your nightstand.
I love to hear that, and I'm getting those stories from people about, oh, yeah, I opened to the random page, or I had set the intention of what do I need to hear today,
Right.
and the different ways that people are using it. And I realized before the show, I think Mama D was using it in the tell me what's on this particular page or this particular journey number, and that's actually a new one for me. Is pick the number first and then go to that.
Yeah, her number. She's always on number 3. I'm always on the number 9. She's always on number 3. But she actually said 38. What's on page 38? So page 38 was a blank, but we went to journey 38,
right?
And it was, I think, appropriate.
Yeah, but now that we're coming back to that for a second, the blank page. I mean, that's really evocative too, right? Like
it is
totally open, totally spacious,
right?
So. But anyway, that's a new one. So I think some people do what you're describing is maybe have it on their nightstand and have it be the first thing that they do in the morning. And
I think it's a nice way to start your day.
That was kind of the genesis of.
So she says, so give me number 3. Okay. All right. Hold on. Now I
Hold on.
Put on the old glasses. I got to get some new glasses. All right. Number 3. Oh, number 9 is spirit teacher. Okay. Oh, power animal. I like it. Power animal is in the beginning of all things, wisdom and knowledge were with the animals. And that was from Chief Lakota. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's a chief. He's a chief. One of the classic ways to work in partnership with an animal spirit who is willing to help you. Journeys to meet animal spirits often begin with the lower world. You may already have a power animal or an animal spirit with whom you connect. If so, go and visit with that animal today and spend some quality time. If not, journey to the lower world and ask to be shown a compassionate animal spirit who is willing to help you, perhaps with guidance, protection, companionship, and sharing its power with you. How perfect, Mama. Journey to an animal. The journey is, because this is how it's set up. All right, so it's the journey number, what it is, power animal, the quote, then her passage, then the journey. Okay, so the journey is journey to an animal spirit and simply spend time together. Today, whether meeting a spirit you know or someone new, simply notice what and how they communicate with you and what you experience together in the lower world. This is fantastic. I mean, yes. So she has a jaguar, is one of her spirit animals that she hasn't really been connecting with. And she's putting up, there's the link. There's the link for your book on Amazon. And she also, actually, you know what? Let me do this because she did do her job. Remember when we were on the test and I said, make the banner. So there's all Mara's links.
Oh my goodness.
And so we can have the banner going during the show.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah.
Social media, my favorite. Yay.
Yay. I know, right? And these
Um,
are her books. So Shamanism for Every Day and Inner Divinity. So, all right, but we're going to be we are talking about this Shamanism for Every Day. But what's Inner Divinity? When did you do that? And what's that?
Yeah. And can I just say one or two more things
About the passage?
Well, about the passage, and so there were a couple of things that were part of that particular journey, like the phrase lower world. So if you are someone who's inclined to just pick the book up in the middle and not do kind of let me start with page 1. Let me read all that preface.
The beginning, yeah, which is right? The beginning. Yes.
If you're familiar with shamanism, you'll know exactly what that is. And if I say, okay, take a journey and go to the lower world or go to the upper world, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Or if you decide to just use this as a book for meditation, that's fine. In the beginning of the book, I do give a lot of background, right? I want to do justice to this really rich and ancient tradition where I'm not just kind of dabbling in it. This is something that
you have decades in it, really.
Yeah, and it's a practice of I'm not taking from a particular culture. This is a practice of direct revelation, right? So it's about how we connect as individuals, not about the practice of one particular culture. But in the beginning of the book, in a very small way, obviously, but there are instructions and there's background that really define some of the terms. So I wanted to strike the balance with this of giving the context of shamanism and shamanic journeying because it had such a profound impact on my life.
And you can tell. Look at you. You just
meeting my own helping spirits and connecting with the spirit of nature and having the structure of the practice of core shamanism just made all the difference for me. It just changed, absolutely expanded my life in extraordinary, unbelievable ways.
How were you introduced to it?
Well, I tend to kind of find this one moment, but really it was kind of a building and layering over time. But the moment that I took the first kind of what I would say like the official shamanic journey that made me say, oh, there's a name for this thing,
Yeah.
I was in my 20s, and there was a woman I knew who practiced shamanism, and I actually kind of got into this whole world more through the intuitive development side, kind of in the personal practice, but also professionally, and had done an apprenticeship with a wonderful person on being able to really refine intuitive skills and practice in giving intuitive guidance ethically and honing that down. So that was, I was working with a small group of people doing that. And so we did a small, I guess a retreat you would call it, together. We went out and we were in this kind of beautiful outdoor space, and my mom and my grandmother and this beautiful woman, and she taught us how to take a journey to go and meet a power animal,
right.
The journey that you just picked. And when we did that, and she drummed for us and gave us the instructions, and the spirit that I met, and I do I talk about this in the book? I can't remember if I tell this particular story, but the spirit that I met in that journey was a spirit that I had seen and encountered over and over again earlier in my life in what I would just have called at that time meditations, right? When I would sit and I would have a practice with a different name, but then this animal would come and I would spend time, and they would show up in different ways, and other animals would too, but I didn't think about it as a power animal, or I didn't think about that as a shamanic.
I gotta show you a picture. I do this quite often. When I found out that the foxes were my spirit animal, I did a guided meditation, and it was a lengthy one, and we were led down a trail and down a cave and down into like an opening in the cave, and you were supposed to wait there to be greeted. But I saw a little pinhole of light So I went over and started picking at it, and it kind of crumbled down, and there was a field there, and there were the foxes running in the field. And then, the foxes are the protectors, and they watch the barrier between the spirit realm and our realm, right? So I'm sitting there with my foxes, like thrilled to death, with my foxes. But then I look over the field, and there's this big altar, right? And it looked like a person standing there with really long hair, and it robes, right, facing the other way. And then this thing turns and looks at me and looked like this, and all I could think of was like, it was like a smashed, like a lion face, it had the robes on, it had the two big things coming down, and everything just looked at me. And it's like, I wasn't afraid, but I just knew that this being was a lot more than I shouldn't be, it's like a holy thing or something. I should not be here. I shouldn't be looking at him. I shouldn't be in his presence, and I'm interrupting him. And I kind of crawl back into the cave. But I, honest to God, will never forget. And I can see it as clear as the first time I saw it in my mind. But it looked like that. And then if you ever watched that show, Vincent, a long time ago, that was on TV, and he kind of like had a lion face. It was kind of like a Beauty and the Beast type thing.
Right.
But he had that lion face. It was kind of like that.
So kind of like in between animal and human, and
but really, and sitting there with the big book, and then it just turned like really calmly back to doing what I was doing, But I always, I have to show that picture whenever I have someone that does these journeys and everything, because it was just so profound. It made such a profound impact in my life.
And I think, like us, everything is kind of the spirit at the core, and then we can take different form. So we're visual beings, and so we're used to.
She never she always steps out of the box. That is true, and it's one of the things she loves about me. I love her. I wish we were up here, Mama. Yeah, but yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I mean, it's so vast, and anything can happen. If you're open to taking those journeys. That's why I love, I like the shamanistic approach to things. I like all of your foundations, as to where you can go, because it's really limitless, But
and also, if you don't connect with that, in the context of this particular book, you don't have to do that, right? If you don't want to do journeying, you can use those as meditations or as ideas to contemplate or pray on, or just think about in your day. I have plenty of people who have told me, well, they're not really interested in pursuing shamanism per se, but that they're starting to use these as meditations, or they've got their own spiritual practice that isn't shamanism, but they're doing this in their own way, and that's great. And that's why I wanted to write it that way.
Exactly. I think that's great, because you're making it available for everyone. So the person that is on the shamanistic journey in their life, it's really perfect. But every person every day, again, can use it too. So, it's a book for everybody.
Pick which ones are useful to you. I had, kind of to your point about people who are, in this work saying, sometimes it's hard to.
Most people are afraid to take chances because of the what if, but it is what makes the steps forward.
They're taking the chances.
Are always chances. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. It's a chance. And then too, you know what? And even on just shiny ball, if you get this book and you read it, and even if you weren't interested in shamanism, you might be after this, and you might pursue it. So
yeah, we sometimes have ideas about what something is.
And then
you think it's going to be one thing, and it turns out to be another thing, or you think you have to take on a new religion or something, or you feel like you have to engage in some whole thing that's different than what we thought.
Yeah, you got to go on a journey through the desert with no food, no water, and live in a cave for a month.
Right. If you want to, sure, but you don't have to do that. A big part of, with this book and with some of, I guess maybe with all of my work, if there's kind of a container around it with the boundaries work, with this, I think you were just starting to ask me about inner divinity, and that too is about having all of this work be really accessible. And we don't have to go to far afield to find these things, right? If you want to find nature, nature's right there, everywhere. Nature's in us, but it's immediately in our surroundings. So you don't have to go on a big quest. We need to look right in our local environments and within ourselves, and we can find so much of what we're looking for when we kind of connect with our local environments, and Absolutely. The beings that we share our environments with, right? They're so full with other beings.
Yeah. Right?
People, animals,
well
plants,
said.
all kinds.
Yeah, well said. And stop destroying it, people. I want to study shamanism. It seems I have a base in it just naturally. Yes, you do, Mama. And she wants more. She wants
I've got a class in the fall online. You can join from Canada.
There you go. I was just going to say, do you have classes available? And on your site, actually, the whole spirit, all this stuff that's going down here. This is all the social links, but she has also the right here. Go to www.wholespirit.com. Actually, I can leave that up there.
Yeah, that's my main. I've got most of my stuff.
And she's got a lot of stuff there. So it's a cool thing to check out. Let me see if I leave that up there. Can I still do this? Yes, I can. Beautiful thing. Okay. Mama D usually always does that kind of stuff. So I'm going to be like trying to.
Yeah, you're doing everything.
I'm doing Mama's job. That's why I have her around. I miss her.
Yeah, in September. So I have 3 weekends actually coming up this fall. So there's a shamanism weekend, and I try and make the hours really manageable because we're all so fatigued with being on Zoom and being online a lot. So they're like 3 hours each day in September, and I have to look up the dates, but people can go online to find them. But it's a Saturday and Sunday, and that's kind of an intro to shamanism and shamanic journeying and finding your own power animal, connecting with your own helping spirit, and kind of just the framework to really have this practice become part of your life if you choose. And then I have a energetic boundaries, an energy ecosystem, energetic boundaries workshop. And then I have a backyard shamanism workshop, which is kind of that next step of really connecting with the nature of your local spaces and the spirits of your local spaces and finding your power in coming home. This time of the
is this a lot of ritualistic things that you follow, or is it just a more on the lines of meditation type of a?
Well, in the first course, in the shamanism course, we're going to learn the practice of journeying, and journeying is going to be used throughout. In the energy ecosystem and in the backyard shamanism course as well, I try and keep it accessible so that everything that we do, or most of the things we do, I would say, if you have a connection to a helping spirit already and you know how to journey, for most of the things you can do it as a journey. But if you don't have to have a lot of prerequisites, right? Okay. So if we're doing work to say, I don't want to give away the course. Let me see. A little teaser, but we were going to do a meditation to get some guidance about how we shift the permeability of our boundaries, right? I mean, this is a huge thing. I know we've talked about this, about being empathic and being porous and taking on so much. I've been living and breathing this week. When we take on the energy and the emotions of everybody that's around us and all the spaces around us and all of our online,
and you turn to a big pile of sludge.
Right, we're overwhelmed, right? And that's one of the things that contributes to burnout. Right? We start to then feel this kind of, we're overloaded, we're overwhelmed, we start to feel negative about our jobs and about our lives. And then when you really hit that burnout place, where we start out being compassionate and we want to help and we have this kind of positive other focus, then that response flips around and we start having a negative, more self-focused reaction, and we really are not equipped to help. In fact, we can be kind of, we're protecting
And the bad,
ourselves.
and the bad energy into that field too. Yeah.
So anyway, those are done as meditations or other kinds of exercises, so that you don't have to have journey experience. It's open to anybody.
And you also have a YouTube channel where you have some meditations there?
Or
is it links to?
Do I have a YouTube channel? I don't. There are things out on YouTube of me speaking, but I don't think that I have one.
Oh, like a dedicated channel.
I think I may have one, but that is not populated with my own stuff.
Oh.
I need
well, you should do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, because in your busy schedule, right? I know, like you have all the time in the world to go set up a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I didn't. I had Mama D do it. She did it. She, I've done the shows before her. I had a different partner. Then I was on my own for a long time, and then she came along and she made me do all this stuff. She made me get StreamYard. She made me get the YouTube channel and all this stuff. It's great. It's like having an accountability partner, and she's like kicks me into play, which is awesome. But she could do that for you too.
That'd be great. I do have a very wonderful person who helps me with technology things, but it is sometimes kind of a matter of how much time there is in the day. But I do have meditations. I have guided meditations that I actually created when I did Inner Divinity. So they're kind of a companion series that go along with that book, but it's not like a reading of the book. You don't have to have the book when you have the CDs.
You have journals too, right? Available?
Yeah, and the journals are blank journals that, again, it's like they're kind of paired, but they're blank, so you can use them however you want. Even if you just want the journal but not the book, you can do that.
Yeah. She's joking and she's like, "That's right, blame me." Yep. She's funny.
You know what? We need those people in our lives who will.
We do.
Sometimes just like gently and persistently push us to do certain things that are good for us.
Exactly.
Really important.
Exactly. And then it's good to have those people too, because and help with that burnout type situation too, because maybe that person can be the calming voice, to help calm that storm down too if you do get overwhelmed. Even you can have the best mindset, the best regiment, the best meditations on the planet, and be so centered and grounded, and still, one thing can make you crazy. And throw it all out of whack, and you might just need that one calming voice to kind of reel you back in and get you back centered and get you back on your path, because we tend to veer to the right.
Having somebody that can help us do that is really important.
It is. And so, all right. So what would be, speaking of important, what would be the importance of doing this every single day?
Yeah. So I guess the first thing I would say is I do a lot of the on the one hand, on the other, or the paradox of this. So I would say the importance of doing something every day, whether it's, whether you enjoy my book or some other practice, right? Is that we wear pathways, right? When we do something as a ritual, as a repetition, and we kind of make it part of our everyday experience, we incorporate it into our being, right? Our brain starts to fire in a certain way. It just becomes part of who we are and what we do. So doing something every day, it's like building your muscle, right? You're not going to go out and run the marathon. You're going to start slowly and you're going to work it up, but then you're not going to come to a hard stop and then do it again. But I do think sometimes with spiritual practices,
people do that. People do that. Yeah.
We don't pray, we don't have any connection, and then all of a sudden we're having a hard time, and then we're praying.
Right? Like a fiend, right? Yeah. So and it's like you got to find that balance, because it's true. When you first find something that you love, say shamanism, right? Mm-hmm. Oh my God, I love it! You can't get enough. You get books, you get courses, you get this, you bombard yourself, and then you're like, oh my God, this is too much.
Right. Anything. You hit that point where either it's not as shiny as anymore, or you hit a little rough patch. So
Right.
where it starts to stir stuff up. Any spiritual practice that is worth having is going to take you to deep places. And shamanic practice does that. The whole course that I just did about boundaries, we've talked about that a lot, is that it if you're really doing it, and if you're doing it regularly, and hopefully being gentle with yourself. So I'm going to come back to the paradox of that. The paradox is you don't have to do it every day. Don't be hard on yourself. This is not like you have to do this every day. You're not doing it right. Like, be easy. Like, let's be easy with ourselves and gentle with ourselves. But the benefit of sticking with something, and
She's
oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, I do. I vent to her all the time.
Is that the point of doing this work is so that we can evolve, and that we can learn about ourselves, and that we can discover how to be in better relationship with one another and with all the other beings that we share this world with. But that's going to bring stuff up if we're doing it and we're being honest with ourselves and we're really putting our heart and soul into it. It's not just about, I have this power animal and it's so much fun. Like, that may be the hook for lots of us. Like, I have this amazing meditation. Like, that's great, but that's not really the work. So if you stop when you get to the point where you have an experience that rattles you, or you have an insight that,
yes, Mara has a YouTube channel. Now get it started. You have one. You do have one. Right. So you just gotta put stuff on it.
Okay.
Your stuff on it.
So like we have to do work. We want to go deep. Right.
Yeah. And then this is the thing too, that if you're the person that's always pointing the finger as opposed to doing this, you've got to be able to look in the mirror, and point. And that's the deep stuff, Admit when you're wrong, admit when you do something. What is so god awful about that? I still don't get it. I plowed over mailboxes the other day. There it is. I put it on Facebook. I did it. You know what I mean? I did this. Hey, accidents happen. If you hurt someone, you did it. You don't lie about it. You know what I mean? And it's like, just, and you keep all that stuff inside you, and it's gonna tear a big hole in your soul, and you need to get that out. You need to make it right for yourself and for that other person, but it is, to do this is the hardest thing for the whole world.
I think we hear a lot recently about in recent times maybe about psychic protection, right? And toxic relationships, and like, how do we shield ourselves? And again, I'm very I've been really immersed in the whole energetic boundaries work and this Shining Bright program. But what you just brought up about how much we need to be accountable to ourselves, we talked a lot about that too, which is we're talking about adjusting our boundaries. We're talking about the container of our being. And we so often are focused on, how do I shield ourselves? How do I get out of protect myself from somebody else's toxic energy? But borders and boundaries go both ways. Those are always permeable. So this work is about protecting other people from you and your energy as much as it is, right, about us. We need to steward our own energy.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't be in that pot with black. I call it sludge. You know what I mean? Because I've done that, like chronic stuff and pulling stuff out of people, and it's like pulling sludge out of people.
We're all part of the ecosystem,
and it drags you down. Get it out, because life can be so much better. And oh my God, when you let this stuff go, when you open yourself up, when you do those journeys and these guided meditations, you come out of it. You never come out of it feeling bad. You come out of it feeling wonderful, relaxed, enlightened, wanting more, just, and it's so helpful. It's helpful to everybody. If everybody did it, I think there'd be a lot less friction between people. So, but you do have to do this.
Yeah. Sorry. My daughter said I need to stop pointing. So
Why? Why?
just
Why?
directed.
No, that puts the point down. I like it. Just if you want to point, you point.
So I didn't want to interrupt you because what you were saying was so. It was so important. And to the, you were reiterating that you have to do it. You have to keep doing it. But you said something just a second ago about you feel good. You feel good after you do these practices. And I think in a lot of ways that becomes part of the routine. And you hear like runners, people who run, and this is not me,
Yeah,
but
the endorphins.
you get the endorphins. And I think when you really develop practices that work for you, if you're trying to force yourself into a practice because you think this is what you need to do to be spiritual, and this is the thing, everybody does X, it's not going to work. But when you find the practice or set of practices that you really resonate with, that are really joyful and authentic to you,
right?
I'm getting like
it's a whole new
tingles that come when I start to even just talk about it, because I'm thinking about the things that I do that work for me, but it's joyful. And so the one that comes to mind for me so much right now, that's just like putting a smile on my face, and it's also making me miss my friends at home, is every morning I meditate with my pets. So my animal friends, right? We call it petitation, although somebody else has a so don't anybody get mad at me. I won't.
I like it, petitation.
I thought of that phrase. I was like,
right here.
Yeah. And I know
my doggy knows I'm leaving. She's she's right here. She's been at my side all day. Yeah, well, all my bags have been out there, so she knows. But yeah, yesterday and today, she has been glued to me. Like she even let me hold her like a little baby, and she doesn't let me do that anymore. She knows. I'm gonna be. I'm missing my baby, but she's too old to travel now, so I can't take her. But yeah, that's calming. That is so calming when you sit and you just pet your animals. When you're upset, this dog, she saved my life, quite literally, because I lost my lab, and I got her as I was losing my lab. I got her because my daughter had a little Chihuahua, and my dog would liven up. So my dog was sick, and I always had big black labs my whole life. And smart. Oh my God, smart.
We got one of those little black.
Wow. Yeah. And then I got little Lacey, because I'm like, I need a little dog to liven up Max. But she was this big. She was this in the palm of my hand, and all she did was sleep. And then I had to put Max down because they were wanting to amputate her leg, and there's a big tumor. And I said, well, if we do that, is she going to make it? And they said, well, it's not really going to prolong her life so much because she was older. And I'm like, well, then why am I going to do that to her? No, that's ridiculous. My baby, I'm not going to put her through pain like that, lose a leg. But anyway, so I lost my dog, and then a year later, I lost my husband. So what I had for comfort was that dog, So whatever I do, she's a spoiled, rotten brat. But I'll tell you what, if I didn't have her, I don't know, the rope in the shed looked good, like and there is nothing more than connecting with our pets and connecting with the animals. And, I just don't know. Now she's 13. She's old. I'm just so worried about her. I'm worried about her when I leave. Something's going to happen to her when I'm gone.
They radiate back to us so amazingly.
Yeah. Yeah. But to sit down, and they have all these dogs that they bring into hospice and to the elderly. And for that reason, they lift your spirits. They're just so loving, and they're soft and cuddly and nice and fuzzy.
Right? Animals are honest with you.
Yeah. That's why I love my little foxes. It's like just such a connection, such a super connection.
If I'm not on time in the morning, if I'm not like ready to go to sit down for our time, I have my one cat will come, and he'll paw at my leg. He'll sit there, and he'll use his little soft paws, and if I don't get the hint, then he'll start to use his claws. Like, come on, let's go. It's time
out. I seriously, I'm such an old lady. I go to bed at 10 o'clock. Lacey will sit there and be like, at 10 o'clock, she'll start nudging me. It's time to go to bed, Mom. Time to go to bed. And Mama D, her cat, 4 o'clock every day, starts whipping that bowl around. Got to eat then. It's crazy. They know.
Magic hour for cats.
Maybe yes, it's the international dinner time. Ding, ding, ding. It's 4:00. Feed me. It was Simon's cat with that cat going, ow. There it is. All right, so shiny ball over. We'll get back into
pets.
I know the pets. Oh, I can't help it. I can't help it. I just feel so guilty that I'm leaving her. But Mama D right there too says, "Yep, Papa Bob, we'll spoil her." Yeah, too much. She's already a beach ball. She'll be more of a beach ball when I come home. She feeds her too much. But that's okay. It's okay. She's sleeping. She's sleeping. She'll love. Okay, let's see. I have a list of questions, and I just want to know if there's something on here that I. Oh, you know what? This is really appropriate because there is an introduction for people. What is shamanism? So what? Yeah, I think most of the people that watch and listen to our show kind of know what it is, but for those of you who don't,
yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. And I want to be really, respectful and clear that I'm not the holder of the definition of shamanism. In the way that I'm talking about it, I'm talking about direct revelation. And what I studied is core shamanism, which is a lot of the beliefs and practices that are common cross-culturally around the globe. So it's not the practice of a particular culture. It's some of the kind of the universal or near universal beliefs that infuse many different practices from many different cultures. So things like everything has spirit, right? And that we're part of nature. Nature's part of us. We're all one family.
Right. One big energetic field.
Yeah, like the web of life.
Right.
And that everything that we do, when we think about healing, or that we're always trying to work in partnership with spiritual assistance. And when we think about, every culture, most religions have some form of the idea of a helping spirit of some kind,
Yeah, from way, 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 way back. Yes.
Very, very common. We have lots of different language for it. And just like we have lots of different language for what we're calling shamanism. I mean, the word shaman is a Siberian word from the Tungus people. But anthropologists kind of took that word, and now as it's became more and more common use, and now it's really in pretty common use in our culture as meaning a lot more than just the practice of those specific people. So we want to kind of walk that line between what's the kind of common understanding of what we're talking about and what's the really culturally specific understanding. But each culture that has
interesting. It is. It's very interesting. Yeah.
But people have different cultures have different languages and their own words for the person who plays the role of the shaman, right?
Right.
But as I'm applying it here, and as we're talking about, it's about having a direct personal connection to helping spirits, to your inner divinity, to spirits of nature, to spirits through time, the ancestors, the descendants, the spirits of the land around you, the spirits of the place where you live. So it's not about taking the practices of a particular culture and using them. It's about your own personal.
So you're not, when you talk about drumming and stuff like that, it's not just you're the only Native American shamanism drumming with the Lakotas or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not practicing Native American shamanism. There isn't really a thing, Native American shamanism, right? Because there are many different peoples with their own practices, right? That's not you can't put that container around. So.
No,
Yeah,
the
working
field
with
the whole thing, it's so huge, and there is a lot to it. Now, what about like astral projection and such? Do you attempt to do that? Is that part of what you are?
So again, I think there's so many overlaps and different terminologies. So let me ask you, tell me how you would define astral projection.
Like remote viewing, leaving your body, being able to go from, say, here. If I could astral project from here to West Virginia, I would not have to do that drive tomorrow. I can say I can
If the
pop
people
in.
that you were going to see could perceive you there, you'd be good, right? So I would say that would be very analogous to very similar to taking a shamanic journey, because in a shamanic journey, the belief is that there's actually your consciousness, your spirit, right? The shaman spirit or the shamanic practitioner, and that's another whole thing we can talk about, is language. Like a person calling themselves a shaman. I don't call myself a shaman. We can use some of these methods, but that does not mean that we're a shaman.
Right. You're practicing shamanism.
Right. So, but when you enter into that journeying state, you've shifted your state of consciousness. So this is also part of kind of the definition of shamanism I would include in that framework, is to take this thing called the journey, right? Which is a deliberate shifting of one's state of consciousness, often through percussion, but it doesn't have to be, right? We know a lot more about, I won't go down that track right now in this moment, but
there's some great videos. There are great videos with
so
the music.
We'll stick with percussion for this moment. Sonic driving, right? But however you do it, shifting your state so that you can perceive the spiritual dimension, right? We're not just usually kind of sitting in our office or whatever and going about our business and then we fly off, right? That can be really ungrounded. We want to be deliberate in our practice, right? So we do something. Usually the shamanic practice is deliberate. We go with an intention. So as you're defining astral projection, I would say if I wanted to go and see what was, not in a voyeuristic way, but if I wanted to go to West Virginia, or I wanted to, maybe back in the day where I needed to see where would the herds be so that I could find food for my people.
Right. Well, they use it. Yeah. I know a shaman, Michael Robichaud, he's a shaman, and he does astral project, but he does that to help people, and he clears negativity and he clears bad spirits from people. So that is what he uses it for, not voyeurism. I'm sure there are people that if they could, just because people are people, that use it for the wrong reasons.
Right. And that gets into the ethics of how you use it, right? You don't want to go and like spy on somebody, but I do it, I would take journeys to help clear spaces, right? If there's an issue in someone's home or on someone's property, I would usually start with a remote experience, and I would do that as a journey so that I'm taking that part of my consciousness and traveling,
and then that's a connection too. Like we could connect. You know what I mean? Like doing this, you can share that space, you can share that connection, and you're in that mindset, and you can project that out there.
And on the one hand, you could say, "Oh, that sounds kind of woo-woo," and on the other hand,
it's not.
It's not. I mean, we're not local beings, right? We're not totally confined to our physical bodies. And when you ask people, have you ever had that experience where you were thinking of somebody and then the phone rang and it was them?
Mm-hmm. All the time.
Everybody has that. That's not like an unusual experience. There are so many examples of telepathy, but people don't necessarily think of it as telepathy. But where there are aspects of our spirit, our soul, our just the essence of who we are that connects.
Well, it's really, but it's the metaphysical community. Yeah, it's all connected. Like shamanism, psychic abilities, the empathic abilities, they're all connected. Again, having different names. It's just how you choose to practice and to enlighten yourself to what you're comfortable with.
Right.
So for me, I will get like little pictures, little movies, little things I will see about something, or someone, and then it happens, and I'll see it. and it's really crazy. And Tammy says, I have taken some shaman classes and reading how to be a shaman. I think this is my calling to be a shaman. Hey, Tammy, you know what? It very well could be. She was just at my house this weekend and helping me with the spirits in my house. And man, did we get conversations. Oh my God. There's a lot going on in this house. But I think it was the fact of the matter, too, our combined energies, because she's very energetic and I have a lot of energy. And they knew that. And so they knew we were going to communicate with them. So they were here, you know, and, and they're answering all our questions too, which was just quite crazy. So, yes, we are energetic beings, and energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be changed. So when we die, where does that energy go? Yes, you can take your spirit, you can go on, you can cross over, you can be gone, but you can also linger here, or you can cross over, you can come back. But it's not obliterated, and we proved that with paranormal investigation, with meditations, with guided meditations, with all these things, connecting to our spirits, channeling, all these things. I mean, to me, they're hardcore proof, that this is not woo woo. This is very true.
Right. I think of the word woo, though, it actually is a female shaman from some of the ancient Asian traditions. So I always wonder, I've looked up to see if that has any connection to where that word came from, and I haven't been able to find it, but I feel like maybe somewhere it is.
Huh. All right, people, Google. Get on it. Mama. That's your mission. Find out where woo woo came from. She wrote, we like woo woo. Yeah, and Tammy said true.
Everything I've found, it's more recent and like used in that kind of snarky, derogatory way that we think that we think about, but then we can claim it. It's like, oh yeah, woo is okay, but they're the woo shamans. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and then again too, it's a true calling. It's a calling that you get, and then again, and if you're trying to follow this path and then you find out that it isn't right for you, it's okay to change your path.
Yeah.
You can take the knowledge that you learned from this, combine it with the knowledge of whatever you're going to go to next. But yeah, you've got to be comfortable with what you're doing in order to grow.
Right.
And that's basically it. And we need this type of camaraderie, connection with people in the planetary scale, to stop all this conflict. Did you hear that noise? That was a weird noise. I don't know what that noise was. It was like, whoa.
I can hear people in the pool down there.
Oh,
for me, there are people.
I wonder if it was that. Okay, that might have been them going. Oh, I'm like, woo woo.
I'm sorry, I'm not able to be in my little space here.
I'm just glad that you're with us. I'm sorry that Mama D isn't here with us too, because this is definitely up her alley. And but everything happens for a reason. So this is the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, we don't have to have the perfect spaces, and we were talking about the tools. I think that was maybe before we were on air. After we don't have to.
Yeah, that was the 38. Yep.
Yeah, that right. It was about tools and honoring your drum or your rattle, and we were talking about not getting hung up on having, I've got to have this special rattle or this special drum or whatever it is, and in our situation right now, not being hung up on we're in our special environment, or in my case.
Right.
Whatever it is, it works. I was sharing with Gina that I carry Tic Tacs in my purse, right? Like
so that makes So it can be a bottle of pills, right? Whatever it is that
you want percussion.
And you don't need to spend money, because it can be this. You can, you can tap, you can. Yeah, do anything.
Our tools are within us more and more, that we just focus on what is inside us and know that you're, a radiant being as you are. And there's lots of things that you can do to to foster that radiance and to foster your spiritual connection and to learn more about yourself and your relationships and all these things. But to not always think that you got to find something else to fix yourself or improve yourself or
right. Right. And the benefits to doing that are beyond control. I mean, it's just like it's beyond. You won't even recognize yourself. You can change that much. You know, say, wow, I was really negative, or wow, I was really nasty, I was really mean, I was really this, I was really that, and you can change. But again, you got to look in the mirror and don't do this to someone else. You got to do this to you in the mirror, and that's where the change has to start. But it's something that you need to just get on doing. What is this, Tammy? Got to go. Oh, battery dying on the phone. Oh, she's gonna listen later. Okay. I love my Tam. I love my Tam. Well, she gets up too early in the morning to go to work, so she doesn't stay up too late either.
Okay.
But you know what? It's almost Mama D's usually over there going, time for commercial break. But I did, guys, don't judge me. I made a new video for our break. Instead of playing two videos, I'm going to do one. And I did it kind of quickly, and I noticed one thing that I have to change. But here it is. This is our new Vortex sponsorship video. Open. Share. Yes. This. Open. And it's too big.
Foxten is now proudly sponsored by Vortex Ghost Gear, one of the leading fabricators of paranormal equipment. Bob Christopher is the founder and creator of Vortex Ghost Gear. Bob has decades of investigating, starting with his team at NEPA Paranormal and as lead in the popular local PA TV show Ghost Detectives. His experience and knowledge of how spirits could be seen or heard is how he manufactures equipment for specific scenarios of spirit manifestation and communication. Ghost hunting equipment made by a ghost hunter. He is the only manufacturer of the lifelike trigger prop cats, and there is a litter to choose from, and also the trigger prop dogs with a few new additions to the kennel. Using proximity meters wired to lights and sound, these have proven to be highly effective communication devices in the field of study. The HDO, another Vortex exclusive, allowing specific items to be the highlight or trigger of your investigation. For example, place the item on a metal tray or attach directly to any metal object, such as keys or glasses that continue to go missing or moved. Ask the spirit to touch the item. The HDO will light. It has an optional sound option as well. This device was used on Travel Channel's Ghost Nation with great results. The Dome, a static detector, can be the most useful device in your gear bag. This is to back up the theory that spirits manifest using static electricity. By using several, you can track a spirit, for example, walking down a hallway, setting off each as it passes. The Geophone detects vibrations. This is another way to track movement if they claim as footsteps in the hallway or stairwell. Set the sensitivity and place the device in that area, and its band of lights will show a range of vibrations, from the slightest tapping, lighting only a few lights, to the loudest thumping, lighting its entire range. The V-Pod holds a special place for those who love the idea of REM pods. Use this sleeker, smaller, easier to transport device, and it has two sound modes, REM and musical. The customizable items are the Easy Scan Ghost Box, which is very popular due to the ease of use, and they are custom decorated to the individual or team using them. Bob programs and uses an Arduino-based computer, scanning FM waves to potentially communicate with the spirit realm in real time. Every box is different, every box is unique, and all custom hand decorated by Gina Bankston. The newest item to Vortex Ghost Gear is the Cryptochords motion-activated music box. Place the item with a sensor pointing in the direction you wish to monitor. If something crosses the V pattern emanating from the box's sensor, the music and light will activate. Take your investigating to the next level with many of Vortex Ghost Gear's unique and custom creations by Bob Christopher by visiting www.vortexghostgear.com. View all the products and get your equipment today. You can also investigate with Bob and Gina with Ghostly Excursions, taking people to some of the most haunted locations in the United States by visiting www.ghostlyexcursions.com. And join us on our next adventure.
Hello? Somebody help us, please?
We heard that you take in wounded soldiers.
We are also Masons. I saw the Mason flag outside.
Tango!
Holy. Something keeps touching it.
Do you think maybe they're trying to bring you your sword?
I feel like once we said we're Masons, that's when it started going off.
Because the Weems family Masons. This is somebody in the Weems family.
Are you Thomas? There goes.
Are you here with us now? This is why you put stuff on and you put yourself in their shoes. This is why you do that. You're absolutely right.
Thought I'd have to unmute it. Okay. That is funny. I'm not used to doing that way. I'm used to having it uploaded onto my StreamYard little, I don't know, kiosk thingy over there. But this was too big, so I have to share it from the screen. I'm not used to doing that. So it's like a little, So Mama D was on it. She says, question I posed was, what are female shamans called in Asian spirituality? And this is the answer I got. The contemporary terminology, they are called mudang. And then there's the wording there.
Mm-hmm.
If female, baksu, if male. If female, all right, so mundane if female, baksu if male, although other terms are used locally. The Korean word mu is synonymous of the Chinese word wu, which defines both male and female shamans. So you were right. You were right.
A little bit of research.
Yep.
There's so many interesting things to research in this world. It's just not enough time.
All right, and right here, it's like it's so easy. Yeah, so easy to just think. Okay. I have a message. It's like, I have a show.
What time, Dana?
Yeah, this is showtime.
Right here.
No, not message time. Yeah, so, okay. Now, like what we're doing here, people can have sessions with you like this?
Yeah, absolutely. I do, prior to the pandemic, I would do one-on-one sessions and even remote sessions then. So I can see people, all over the world. And then during the pandemic, I would only do remote sessions. And I'm just about to open back up to do in-person sessions again. So yeah, people work with me one-on-one in all the different modalities that I use. Some are kind of the traditional shamanic methods. Some are, hands-on energy work. Some of it's more intuitive counseling. And the personal evolution counseling combines all of those into a more kind of holistic way of working.
So now you're hands-on. Is that like a Reiki type thing, or like a pranic type thing, or just energy manipulation?
Yeah, I do Reiki and I teach Reiki, and I use that as part of a layering. I tend to do a little bit of a layering of shamanic laying on of hands, healing with spiritual light, and Reiki. Sometimes individually, and then sometimes I do like
Wow. So Mama D, she's a Reiki master, mm-hmm. And I would like to get that as well. I would like to become a Reiki master, and if I was going to do any classes, I could become a Reiki master through working with you.
Where you're in Pennsylvania? Yeah. So there are some things that I do that I teach online, and there are some things that I mostly am doing in person only.
Okay.
So I would probably, and I don't want to say this as an absolute, but I would probably say, if you can find somebody in your local area to do Reiki training with, I would obviously, I would love to work with you, but that would probably be best, because if you really, and I know people do it over the internet.
Right.
And
But you want that personal connection.
I'll kind of, yeah, I'll abstain from having commentary about, but I think being with somebody, and there's really a practice component that's very important, and being able to have feedback. So you want to be able to, if you're the teacher and you're doing attunements and you're teaching
Yeah,
people,
you want to feel that. You want to feel that energy. You
right?
know?
You want to be able to answer questions, and you want to be able to have the practice of actually doing it there and in the presence of other people as much as possible. It's one of the reasons why when I'm working with apprentices and teaching kind of all of these different methods, is at this point I've been doing a lot one-on-one. Is I want to be able to see them get it. I want to be able to, at the end of the program,
Exactly. You know it. You
yeah,
can see that spark in their eye that, oh, when someone understands something, or they have the blank stare like,
and
I'm
yeah,
lost.
I'm not sure, and I want to see them do it with other people before they go out in the world and start working with other practitioners. I mean, as practitioners with clients, I really love to be able to give them the opportunity to have me sitting there, and for me to feel confident, like, oh, they got it.
Right.
And for them to be able to say, oh,
Right.
I thought I had it, but then I was in that session and I kind of froze and I didn't know how to describe it, and I didn't know. And then by the time that they're done, they're like, they have this sense of confidence and ease, and they've gotten feedback from people. And anyway, you'll find somebody's great in your ear.
There are. I
Yeah.
respect your answer. I mean, it totally makes me respect you even more than saying, "Oh, I'll just work with you online." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that means to me and to everybody else that you're living it. You mean what your whole heart and soul and body and mind and spirit is into this. And you want people to succeed, and you want them to do it the right way and the ethical way. And that was it in a nutshell right there. So I might have thrown you under the bus a little bit with that one, but
Yeah, no,
but you came out, perfect.
Yeah. I realized I talked about the apprenticeship thing, and like I don't really advertise that. I talk about it, but I don't, and it's around, but I don't. It's not. You can't just like go online and I want to sign up and do that.
Right. No.
You need to be my client, and I need to know you, and you need to know me a little bit, and it's
a thing. It's a thing. It's a connection. And you got to have it, because there are people that want to do these things just on a whim, like this. And again, going back to your burnout thing that you keep, that we go back to, people will get an idea and run with that shiny ball.
Yeah.
Even if it's the complete wrong thing for them to do, they'll dive in head first anyway, and especially with energy work, because some people should not be doing psychic work and energy work. Even if they can, they shouldn't.
Yes.
You
have to have practices that keep you grounded. And I really am a very practical person, and from my own life and in how I teach, I want people to be grounded. And I've seen too many people in my office who have, just as you're describing, started to, they get that kind of like, oh, they have some natural ability, right? Yeah. Which we all have to a certain degree, but maybe they do a bunch of Reiki classes all jammed in together, and or they do some other training, or they have some kind of really extraordinary experience, and they get wide open, but nobody's taught them how to do those things and expand in a way that also keeps you grounded. And then they start having some really troubling things, and they don't know how to deal with it. Exactly. And I've had to kind of help people work their way back from that. But then I've also had people that'll come and they're having all sorts of extraordinary symptoms, but they still want to work with other people. They're not willing to stop working theoretically on behalf of other people, but they can't manage the fact that all this stuff is, and I don't mean people like you get, you get some illness in your body or you are depressed sometimes. Like you're practitioners, we're all human beings, and we all
of course,
very much have our own.
You live in a human life. You're going to have
emotions. I'm not saying people have to be perfect, but if you were kind of out of control energetically, you shouldn't then be showing up in a space with somebody else.
No, especially if you have someone that's highly empathic with you, because what are you doing? You're transferring all that to them, and you're the one that's supposed to be giving them the calming energy and not this frantic,
it's really important,
energy. And that's what people really need to know, and a lot of people too that are out there teaching. I could say names. I could drop names right now, but some people are out there teaching like psychic development to people that are coming in and their third eye is already wide open. You know what I mean? And it's like, and they're pummeling them with this information that could be wrong. That's wrong. And, and what they should have been doing is teaching them how to shut that third eye.
Modulate it, right?
Yes. And focus it and everything. And they're doing it wrong. And I just hope the people that are going to these people can understand that and know that, there are great people in the world to work with, and there are not so great people in the world. But the main thing is when you come across one of these not so great people, mm-hmm. your spirit guides are going to be telling you this. Mm-hmm. However, they're going to be telling you this, that they might lose your keys on you so you can't drive there. They might, hit you in the back of the head. They might start tingling things up and down your arms. They're gonna get you away from them, and it's your job to listen to them, and especially the ones that ask for far too much money, mm-hmm. too. Usually that's a big thing, or money up front or something like that, for a lot of things, for like a big huge course, and you got to pay for everything up front. I mean, I think half is good,
right? Yeah. Honoring yourself and your time and your knowledge, and also honoring that people are in different places in their life. And, if you need to work on a sliding scale for a session or whatever, the kind of the dynamics of.
Well, yeah, that's in every field, but it's like the truly caring people are the ones that, you got to find, like a person like you, and you can tell, you have that aura about you, have that feeling about you. If you just get this book and you read some of these passages, automatically what she's all about instantly. This is I just opened a sexuality.
All right then, shall we talk?
Okay, well, we are after 9. Okay, family show's over, kids to bed.
Okay.
But you are, everything, your heart and soul is into this, and I'd love to see the other book as well. But I wish we did live close. You're in Colorado now working, but where is it that you actually live?
I'm in North Carolina. I'm in Durham, North Carolina, usually.
Well, that's only 9 hours away. Yeah.
Not too far.
Yeah.
One way or the other, we'll figure it out.
But I would love to work with you on a few things. I just think that you would be the perfect person, a calming person. Someone that when you have that connection and that they care. And that's you.
Thank you. And I would be honored to work with you. And we can definitely make a time to do that. And I think it's really important for. I'm getting a little weird audio thing. Are you getting that too?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Well, you're just a little. It almost sounds like it tapping. Your ancestors may be drumming.
Okay. Wi-Fi in my hotel. Maybe it's coming back. Anyway, it went away now.
Right.
So, what you said about feeling comfortable. So, in choosing who to work with, I think there are. Okay, I'm getting that weird feedback again. I'm just going to keep going. There can be a lot of people out there. There's some, there are some people who maybe are acting unethically, but there are a lot of people that may be perfectly fine, lovely, ethical people, but that wouldn't be the match for you. right? So I do think what you're saying about people trusting what their instincts are, and for any practitioner, right? For doctors and whatever, we should try and find people that we trust and are competent, but that also we feel like we can be at ease with them, that there's a good resonance with them.
Yeah, and you can open up to them and feel safe,
right.
and that's and especially in something like this. That's
right. You said the empathic piece is this is intimate. This is really intimate work. And if you're going to let somebody, I mean, we're always in each other's energy, but when you're going to give somebody permission to really deliberately be in your energetic space,
right?
Trust yourself and feeling, does this person feel like that I'm comfortable having them in that space? And if you ever decide, okay, now I feel differently, it doesn't have to mean that they're a bad person,
right?
But if there's something wrong, it just means like maybe that's not the fit for me right now, and that's okay.
And it totally is. It totally is. So Mama D's saying, what's going on here? Private jet, come get me. We're up to
Come on, we'll do a weekend.
Yeah. Well, I'll be driving that way, but you're not there. Yeah. Sort of. I mean, well, Virginia-ish. So I cut down that way, go across.
We'll do a custom retreat for you.
Oh, echo? Is she echoing? Who's echoing?
Now I'm echoing.
Oh, because she sounds fine to me. So
now I sound okay to me too, but before I was hearing such a weird little echo.
Oh, is it doing it still, Mama? Yeah, just answer me when you can. Talk through it. Well, keep talking. See if it's echoing.
Okay. Maybe it's on its way out.
Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Is it me echoing or her echoing? Check. All right. Check's in the mail.
Crazy technology. So it's so wonderful. I mean, we kind of get down on technology a little bit, and I'm talking about how we're overwhelmed by technology and how do we have our good boundaries. And I know I'll admit I sometimes get down on social media because it's just not really my most favorite place to interact. But it's wonderful. Technology is just amazing.
It is.
It's neutral, right? We bring ourselves to it. Whoever we are coming to it and we're using it. And, there's some problems, obviously, like with social media and all what's happening behind the scenes. There are clearly some issues. But we live in such an amazing time with so many things. The fact that we can be sitting in these different places and connecting in this way, we take it for granted. But it's miraculous.
Loki, this is Sharon. Mara was just rubber banding from the moon wobbling. Is the moon really wobbling? Do we have to be concerned? Is this going to be, a sudden impact? Picture from the satellite. Everybody go outside real quick. Look at the moon. See if it's doing this. All right. Hold it up. Send your energy. Get those chi balls going and get that moon back into space. And there you go. Have you ever watched that? Speaking of like energy manipulation, the Tai Chi men that will create that ball and throw it across the room, and a plant will move across the room. That is amazing. I got a couple books in this mess over here somewhere on that, and it's really amazing. And a lot of people, and I teach when I talk about paranormal 101, we do things with people and events with people. Psychic development, paranormal 101 and such. I'll do that with people. I'll say, you just take your hands and you put them together and you rub 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 and you rub. And then you hold them apart. You can hold them way apart, but then we're off screen. But if they got to be directly apart from each other, right? And then bring them in. And where do you feel that resistance, right? That's energy that you've created. Like me, I feel it way out here. But you can take and press that into a ball, manipulate it, and throw it.
Right.
You can take it and you can infuse it in you, and you can take out bad energy and replace it with this good energy. And it's all intent and mind. And that's a protection where you were talking about protection and we never really went through it all. Psychically protecting yourself, energetically protecting yourself from energy vampires and the negative people that are coming into. Say you were doing a class, you have a class going, and everybody's on a perfect heel,
right?
And this one soul comes in,
right,
with this disruptive energy, and if you're not protected, what's going to happen? You're going to absorb that like a sponge, and your beautiful, wonderful mood, and your journey is going to come to a crash and halt, and you're going to hit that barrier and that
Right.
roadblock.
If you have not developed some ability to manage yourself. So I would say yes, I don't disagree with you at all about how you protect. And it's like, how do we, maybe the definition of the word protect. So I like to think we want to make sure we're not always on the defensive too, right? So in the Shining Bright course and the energy ecosystem, just in the way that I help people think about having healthy boundaries, I like to think about it first as a, how are you so filled, right? So I love you're kind of doing this. So this is this ball of energy. Really thinking about if you are so full and radiant in yourself, it's much harder to get thrown off balance by anything else.
It is.
Right? Then maybe you're going to layer on some other kind of protection, but we don't want to walk around in the world feeling like any little thing can throw us off, right? Because that puts us in a fearful moment, right?
But highly empathic people that don't realize that they
That's
are,
right.
and that's their life, and they have no clue. And it's like, you know, they're happy, and then they walk into a convention, and by the time they leave the convention, they've gone through every you know, emotion under the sun, and they don't know why. You know,
and I'll tell you, that's why I did this work. And you were so kind in describing like that you felt kind of my heart centeredness. But this work is from my heart, and the boundaries work. I mean, the shamanic work and the work with nature is because it's joyful, and it makes me just. I mean,
you found you. You found you.
Yeah, it's like,
you can help people. Yes.
Right. The boundaries work, and the how do you manage that empathic porousness? That's because I suffered. That's because what you're describing of, you know, I remember coming out of, you know, convention centers. I remember being in relationships. All of those things of how do I distinguish what's me and what's someone else? And if you're lucky to go through life and not be in any challenging situations or any overwhelming situations, or who does this happen to? No one. So if you have that porousness, you're going to suffer. So that work I created because I suffered with that, and I don't want to be on the defensive. And so, how do you? So being stronger and brighter in yourself, and then having bringing in lots of other tools to really be able to stay compassionate, but not to be absorbing everything.
Exactly. I mean, I again, me too. I didn't know, you know, what all the emotion things were. And then when you get, I don't know if you have children, but when you get pregnant, they're really heightened. You know, oh Lord in heaven, you know, between the hormones and the empathic stuff going on, I couldn't watch TV. I couldn't watch a commercial. There was a commercial that came on, and a guy wouldn't take a little girl fishing. I think I cried for like 2 days over this.
I cry all the time.
It's healthy. It's healthy.
Yeah. I mean, happy crying. But crying is just, I think, when you're full, right? It could be sad, it could be happy. It's just like an expression. But yeah, my daughter.
Now I can't get through AGT. Watching AGT, we love to watch AGT, and that now, you know, with all these heart wrenching stories, you know, you're always crying at least at one point during AGT. It's like, really, like, you know, Bob thinks I'm really, you know, big tough, you know, Massachusetts woman here, you know, and it's like, come on.
I'm right there.
But shield, you know, grounding, shielding, protecting, whatever it is that you know, deem the terminology to be, it's important.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Yeah. And me with doing paranormal work, I ground, I shield twice a day, and I wake up in the morning, and it's the first thing that I do. I just, you know, I get rid of whatever the night bring, and, you know, start my day, and at the end of the day I get rid of what the day bring, and sleep, you know what I mean? So because I'm in that field, I'm in that place of putting myself in the line of fire, so to say,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So yeah, I'm gonna protect me of it. You know, I'm gonna help them. I'm gonna help the spirits. I'm gonna help people I'm helping, or whatever I'm gonna do. I'm gonna help them, but I'm also gonna protect me, and I'm not gonna take all that in. If I didn't do that, Lord knows what could happen. You know,
So important
attachments
that you're
happen
doing
to people. You know, you'd have to get that cord cutting ceremonies, all these things. You know, get rid of
it.
attachments, get rid of like attachment, like a kind of like a little mini possession. You know, a spirit will cling to you, like you're like a bright light
So
walking
common. People think
into.
it's not, but it's really very common.
It is. It really is, and you can pick one up walking through Walmart. You know what I mean? You don't doesn't. Everyone says, "Well, you go to these haunted locations." Yes, I am, but you know, walking down your street is a haunted location. I mean, these
Going
spirits
to a
are there.
bar, going to a hotel, going to a hospital.
Oh, oh, huge. Yeah, yeah. You know, it's everything. Oh, thanks. Thanks. I try to be, you know, it's part of what I do, you know, I try to be, you know. But we did. We just
You
did that
are.
investigation here and there's a lot going on here. And it's like, why do you stay so how can you stay so calm? And it's like, well, you're having a conversation and you get the answers. So you have a conversation with spirit. But again, too, when you're doing a guided meditation, you're actually kind of having a conversation, you know, with the spirit that you're trying to connect with, you know, like a spirit guide or whatever. It's the same
Mhm.
thing, you know, and it's a connection with spirit. So which either way, but still have that I have that barrier around me, and that enables me to do what I do, and you as well.
Yeah, you're staying present and you're listening and you're receiving, but you're it's like you have the
Yeah, I can cut
like
the
looking
emotion part off
you're
of it
present. You can
too.
see it, but you're not. It's not absorbing in. It's like you've got.
Yeah, yeah, because you can even you know a spirit emotion. I mean that there's a crying woman, a child attached to me coming home from Trans Allegheny, and I had to actually have help to get her to
Mm,
go. She was just that distraught, and all she did was cry. You couldn't even talk to her; she just
mm,
cried. It was the saddest thing.
mm.
If I wasn't protected the way that I was, I would have been crying along with this child. You know what I mean? And she's in spirit form, but that's just one part of it, you know, just the living people. And then they have even more energy coming off of them. So, you know, someone that's like a widow, just a widow or a widower, just lost their spouse or something, and all those emotions, and you walk by them in a store. And all of a sudden, you're just like so sad, and you don't know why, you know, and that's it.
There are
And
so many layers. And what's the land that that store was built on? How
um,
old is that store, right? And what things maybe have happened in that store, or what happened on the land, and who lived on the land, and you know
yeah,
what took place there
yeah,
that had a
the,
collective
yeah,
energy.
yeah, a battle went right down the street in front of my, down a couple, 100 feet away. You know what I mean? Like right over there. There's a Battle of Wyoming went through here. So, you know, but it's just, you never know. You never know. You were so lost and you met me and learned
Oh,
so much. Oh, I showed you truth, of course. Well,
no.
that is
Yeah,
why we're here.
man.
That's what we try to do. And I try to bring you the absolute best people that I possibly can. And Mara is absolutely, in my book, top of that list.
Oh, thank you so much.
So, yeah. I mean, just I can tell that right away. Just the few times that we've talked before even doing this, and now that we've done this, you know, you just you can just tell. You can just tell. You know, some people are great at it, and others are like, well, you know, it's been nice talking to you, and we should wrap this up tonight. But now again, so we talked about you doing one-on-one sessions. Now your classes, and you have some classes coming up too. I
Yep, I've got 3 scheduled for the fall: the shamanic journeying, the energy
Oh my
ecosystem
god.
about the boundaries, which we've been talking about quite a bit, and the backyard shamanism about really finding your uh, power in your local home spaces and in coming home. And that was really inspired, in part through this whole time of our pandemic and our really returning back to our home spaces and being kind of sequestered in our home spaces. Um, maybe a little bit before that, but we there's so many definitions about, well, thank you, what home is, right? Kind of the home of our body and the home of our spirit and the home of our families and the home of the places where we live. And then kind of our spiritual home in all the different definitions. But I think that we really find ourselves when we create a relationship in all those different layers of home. So that's the backyard shamanism is about that. And I use backyard as kind of the fill-in for, what we were, I think, talking about earlier of nature's everywhere. You don't have to find your nature by going out on some big trip necessarily, but just go out, whatever your backyard is, whether you live in the city or out in the wilderness or
find that little patch of grass.
A little patch of grass, it's fine, I got a little backyard, we do that. There are trees outside. I've gone around outside in this space when I arrived here. I did my journeys and meditations to connect to this place because I was going to be here for a little while, and I went out and talked to these trees, and we think about the people, but sometimes we don't think about the place and the nature of wherever we are. Yeah. So that's kind of what that course is about. And I'm always adding new things and mixing things up. And
internal space.
So do you mean internal to our body or internal to our homes, like creating sacred space in our homes? And I would say, yes, both of those things are things that I cover is, the internal space of our body and making a good relationship with our physical body. We can be so mean to ourselves about our bodies, right? And not listen to our bodies and be harsh about our bodies. But then also our houses, like our apartments or whatever, our tents, wherever we're living in, they can have spirit too. And if we treat them as inspirited places and we tend them and we create
eternal in body and spirit.
Yeah. I mean, that's what this is about. And, we haven't come back to inner divinity yet, but this is maybe a good segue.
Yep.
Because that's what inner divinity is. It's the home space of your spirit in your body, right? We've got all those, the body, mind, spirit, they're all interwoven. So, that book was really about how do we recognize and honor and kind of see our inner divinity as the place that we keep coming back to. So I talk about how do we kind of reestablish our connection to ourselves and our innate wisdom and creating the life that we want from that kind of sacred intelligence of our home space, of our inner divinity. And then how do we, well, thank you.
It's awesome. Mama D's on it. She's
really on it.
I love her.
Yep. And then how do we relate to other people and create healthy relationships when we are connected to our own inner divinity? And that goes back to the point you've made a number of times, Gina, about trusting your intuition, trusting the guidance, trusting what is coming to you from other sources in the environment around you that's helping you to inform you about what's right for you, what's healthy for you. Right. And of course, fold in your logic and your reason and research and all these other things, right? We're balanced people. We live in modern times with amazing technology. Do your energy work, but this is me, but go to the doctor. Like, use everything you possibly can use that's available to you right now.
My home's where I am. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then, the rest of that book is about also relating to your environment from that home place of your inner divinity, developing your intuition, creating spiritual practices that are meaningful and authentic to you. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. Awesome. It's going with me on my trip. And my daughter I need to read a few things in here. I have something marked that I want to read to her. I'll keep that private. But I do have.
I know packing and limited space and like the things that you take are important, so that means a lot, and I appreciate it.
I bring a lot, but it all means something. I need every single thing I bring. But no, it's very special. It's very special. I mean, especially. I I knew it was special when Tammy picked it up and opened up to page that was totally perfect for her. I mean, like totally perfect for her. So yeah.
I use it that way myself, actually.
Adopt me, please. But it is. I mean, if you do read it, like she said at the very beginning, there's a lot in the introduction and
Yep.
mindset and everything else to get you in the appropriate, you know, mindset to go on this kind of a journey,
Right, and ways to
and
prepare yourself.
and journey one is called appropriately the beginning,
Right.
So, and then it's 365 journeys, so 365 days is a whole year of
Yeah, you can do it every day.
of inner development, basically, for one low price.
One low
One low price. That's
$12.99,
it. You can get this on Amazon, and I'll tell you, it would be worth getting.
Yeah, thank you.
You know,
And I do think,
for a whole year.
it would be great to read. If you can read that beginning chunk, it's not that much, but I think that it really does kind of frame what comes next. So I think that the approach of using the journeys however you want and opening up, you definitely don't have to, this is not a book you have to sit down and read from cover, from end to end. But if you can read that beginning piece, I think that's helpful.
Yeah.
And particularly to have some journey instruction. If you're not familiar at all with shamanism, I think it's good information.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you could do a little more other research too before you get into it. But you don't really need to. It's a great explanation. It's a segue to the journeys, and you did it well. So
thank you. And of course, and if this is your first introduction and you read this book and this just gets you all jazzed up to do more with shamanism, and I hope that you'll be in contact with me and think about ways to go further, because there's more and more that we can do, or find somebody else. I mean, there are lots of other teachers and schools, or learn on your own. And really, in this work, ultimately, your teachers will be your helping spirits. So it's good, I think, to have a human being that has lived, and is living in this world, and you can ask, practical questions and time-related questions, because maybe the spirits are really not so good on time.
Yeah, what time frame are you in, and where,
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have a human guide or a human facilitator, companion, or some way. But the spirits are going to be our real teachers. Like, we can kind of help each other along.
And they do. They knock you back on your path. And I truly believe. I mean, we are humans living the human experience. Yes, we make mistakes. Yes, we learn from our mistakes. Hopefully, but that does shape us and form us. But I do think that we are predestined to go down a path.
Mm-hmm.
I do think, if you were meant to have 2 kids, you're going to have 2 kids. If you were meant to, I don't know, to have 2 divorces, you're going to have 2 divorces, to ultimately end up with the right person at the right time in the right frame of mind. You have to go through all these things to get to where you need to be. But when you start really veering off your course, they do knock you back on in ways you wouldn't even believe.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to get back,
Yeah. And it's easy sometimes, we can look back. It's always this, like, the Monday morning quarterback, or the hindsight is 2020. Right? You can look back at your life and say, oh, I had that car accident right before I was supposed to do that thing. Maybe I wasn't supposed to do that thing, right? We can, exactly what you're describing. It's easier to see them when we look back and can see how things turned out.
And
but we can bring that same approach, and then maybe that helps us see things moving into the future a little bit better. Pay attention.
Perfect example, right? Everything was telling me I wanted to go down to West Virginia for my grandson's birthday, beginning of June. And there was so many things going on. I really wasn't feeling well, but everything was telling me not to go. The day I would have been going, what happens? The boot broke on my car, and my tire went way out to the side. If I was going 70 miles an hour on a highway, I could have died other people could have died because you can't steer with that. The car would have definitely flipped. You know what I mean? I would have probably gone to a truck. Who knows? You know what could have happened? But every single thing was telling me not to go. Even though my daughter was yelling at me and bitching at me, you never see your grand. I'm like, I will come down another time. I just, right now is not good. And then that happened.
Wow.
And now I'm going tomorrow. So, and the car's fixed. And both things are changed. So the boot that broke and the other one, I changed that one. If that one went, then that one's going to go. So change it. And it really wasn't that bad, but I don't care. Change it. Yeah.
And it's hard to know sometimes, like whether we just need to have more perseverance, right?
You're
like,
going to send who the quantum physics book, me or her? Time is relevant. Time is irrelevant, she says. But yeah, go on with that.
Well, just that I don't know, maybe I'll speak for myself, but there's that fine line between there's pushback, and that means like I'm gonna be determined. I'm gonna bring my perseverance to this situation, and I'm gonna keep working, because I don't think life is necessarily it's just the flowing, like everything is easy. I don't think our chosen path is necessarily, doesn't look easy to get where we need to go into the predestined thing that you just talked about.
Right.
So there sometimes is that fine line between, oh, you're not going to give up the thing because there's some little barrier in your way, but you do want to have the discernment, as you're describing. Everything was telling me not to do that. So I think that is where it can get really tricky, is the discerning with the message that says don't do it, from come on, we're gonna work through this. we can persevere. We can do this practice daily, and it's going to help us. Versus, I'm having a hard time this week with my meditation, I'm going to quit.
Right. Right. Yes. And it's a mindset thing too. If you sometimes, yes, you do have to push back. That's the perfect word for it. You do have to push back, push through. If you know in your heart and soul that this is like the right calling, this is the right thing that you need to do for you, for your family, for everyone that you know, then push through. Because we're going to have hard times. There's going to be stumbling blocks. And then again, when you hit those stumbling blocks, it's usually the time that you're starting to get, all right, well, I've done this level for this long. And then you hit the stumbling block, but that means you got to climb up and go to the next level. So it's like, okay, you're done here. You know what I mean? So again, it's the universe still helping you, telling you, all right, I might have to stop you here because you need to go here.
Right. Or we're a new path, right? You're used to walking this path in the woods, and it's all well worn and it's easy, but it's time for you to explore this other little special place over here, but you're going to have to bushwhack a little bit to get there.
Yeah. It's like starting over again, and again, you're going to come out the other end better, more enlightened, more, have more knowledge under your belt, and just, and that's just the way it is. And that's with anything, but that's a true, that's your true journey, is just to keep going. What is this here? It's that like love can be so close to hate. Yes. Some go towards negative and not stay in love. Well, it's easy to go to negative, right? It's hard to stay in positive. Anybody can just get angry and, and shut themselves off, because who wants to be around an angry person? So it's easy to be angry. It's easy to be negative, but it takes work to be kind and loving and helpful.
It does. And not the facade of positivity, right? We don't want to, everything that you said, yes. And there also can be that kind of, we don't want to have positivity be a bypass. Like everything's, like we're not going to go into like processing the difficult stuff because, it's all good, it's all fine.
Yeah. It's not all fine all the time.
No, it's not. Sometimes things are very much not fine.
No.
But that doesn't mean you have to be hateful, right? We can deal with really not fine situations and really inappropriate people, or behavior, separated from the person, like really not okay behavior. But that doesn't mean that we have to stop being decent.
Exactly.
Right? And so that comes into the boundary work too, because people feel like they can't have good boundaries, or they're not being nice, or they're not being positive, or they're right. So you can be loving, and you can be compassionate, and you can be a kind person, and you can also say no. Or
yeah, it doesn't mean you're a pushover and that I'm a doormat and walk all over me. No, that's not the thing. It's just you're choosing a better, higher road. So yeah, try to teach that to certain people that don't want to listen. But in their time they might get it. You never know. You never know what goes on. But all right, we're getting down to the end. Let's see. All right, so people can connect with you through wholespirit.com.
Whole Spirit, yeah. I'm old. Email is still a great way to connect with me. So go to my website. I've got a little contact form there. If you if you want to make an appointment, or you want to just be in touch or get on my list, just put your information in there, or put a little note to me saying I want to make an appointment. Everything, you'll find everything on that website. And
you have a great little website. I like your website. It's nice. Yeah. Let's see. What's this? What can people listening do right now or tomorrow to take care of themselves for free?
Go outside. Be in nature. Surprise, right?
Get out there.
It's nature. It's out. It's we have complex relationships sometimes with nature, but in whatever way that works for you, right? So going outside for some people is like, oh, I don't want to do that. For other people, it's like, nature's my church. So if you're a nature is my church person, you're like, of course, this is what I do. This is how I feel better. If you're I don't like bugs, or I don't like sitting on the ground person, then you don't have to sit on the ground, and you can maybe place yourself in front of a window and look outside and watch the birds, and
sit in the screened-in porch.
Sit in the screened-in porch. It's not an all or nothing, but find some way to have taken the elements and taken the air, and have the smells of nature, and listen to the animals, but connect with nature. And if you are not able to experience that at all for whatever reason, if you can't leave your room, and you don't have a window, or you can't walk outside, whatever it is, use the power of your imagination and picture yourself in the natural world, or look at an image that is
like behind us
to you and calming to you. I mean, again, like thinking about our technological resources, you can pull up such extraordinary imagery of our beautiful world, images, pictures and videos, and just let that be part of your field and your consciousness, and it's so healing. And I would say that would be my suggestion for something for you to do right now.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful. So many people need to do this. I will be outside all day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Outside in the car. Hopefully not having road rage. I will have to.
Yeah.
I know it's going to happen at some point. That mass hole will come out of me. And that's what's going to happen. I know it. But again, hey, I embrace it. I am what I am. But I can, a little feisty. Yeah, that's a good word for it, feisty. But I will bring it. I'll bring it back. I'm not like I used to be. Again, I think I crossed another threshold where I used to drive everywhere fast. Gotta get there. Now I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go the speed limit, and I'll get there when I get there, when I'm supposed to get there.
And use less gas too.
You do.
By going a little slower.
Yeah. And then the people that come up behind you zooming, and it's like, well, maybe go 5 miles an hour over the limit. Sometimes, depends. Depends on the music I'm listening to, too. But I usually hit cruise control and just drive, and then watch all the other people, going crazy. And it's like, yeah, I used to be you. I used to be you.
And I hear a funny speeding ticket story.
Yeah, I get, 2 speeding tickets I've got in my life.
Mm.
One was going 35 miles an hour and the other was going 30.
What?
Yeah, because the speed limit was 20 and then the speed limit was 25. So, yeah, so the 25 to go 35 and the 21 I was going 30. So they were 10 miles over. So that was $100 ticket. Two of them. Yeah. I mean, it's like, damn, I can see if I was going 100 or, 80 or something, but 30 and 35, really? I had the second one thrown out, but the first one I was like, that was after my husband passed away, and it was just this bad corner, and I just didn't even feel like fighting anything. It's just too distraught. But what's your speed ticket story?
Oh, do you know Krishna Das,
No.
Kirtan leader? Okay, so it's Kirtan. It's a chanting. It's a spiritual chanting. And I had just gone to a retreat. This was a long, long time ago, and this is just very wonderful, meaningful music. And I had bought a CD, and I was driving back home, and I had the CD in my player, and I was on these kind of relatively little back roads, and I was just rocking out. I was singing, and I was driving along, and I'd lost track of, and I was definitely speeding.
Yeah.
But the lights came, and I was like, okay, I got my ticket, and then I went to take the CD out, and I was all sheepish because I'd been having such a good time, and then
I know.
This
Rain on your parade.
They did. I totally ran on my parade. But this little slip of paper came out of the CD case. And the Kirtan Wala is like the leader. It's a call and response chanting. So they say something and then you sing it back to them. And a little slip of paper came out and it said, the Kirtan Wala is not responsible for speeding tickets that you get while listening to this CD. I kid you not.
Wow. Oh my God.
Like,
that is the best speeding ticket story I've ever heard.
Yeah. I was like, that's fine. The ticket's worth it.
My God. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is so freaking awesome. And again, meant to be. They knew it. That's so funny.
Must have happened to enough people.
Well, that's what I mean about the music. You do get lost in it, and so that's why I'll hit the cruise control, and then I won't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
What are you saying? That you burn white sage every evening before bed. Every evening, really? Okay. Well, that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. Mama, expecting audio messages from me. From me. Is that book? That's this book. You need this book. Is that in the book or the next book? Right, the speeding ticket story.
Oh, I don't think I've written about it. No, I just told you that. I don't think I've written about that anywhere.
That's funny.
I remember writing about it. So you heard it here first.
Yeah, heard it here. Yeah, so you never know what you're going to get in the box, then. That's for sure. But so, anybody have any questions for Mara about any events coming up or anything like that? Again, she's got some classes coming up. She's got 2 books available right now. These books both have accompanying journals, so you can write, take notes. It is a journey. You can use it however you want to use it, but use it. And that's the key, And again, when you read it, you'll know Mara because she comes through. Give yourself, back in time to give yourself love as a baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was just one thing. The bee.
Yeah.
The bee was something I opened up to twice, so I'm gonna have to read that one.
Yeah, I love that one.
But
I wonder if I'm sorry, the person that had just written in, if they were asking about audio, the course that's coming out in the springtime, the one that I was here recording for Sounds True, the Shining Bright Without Burning Out, that is an audio course. So that's an 8-session audio course. I'm not sure if that's what they were meaning, but
I'm not sure. That was Mama D saying that. So
I'm sorry.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what she was talking about, but yeah, because that's what you're doing right now. You're working on it right now. So when it's all done. Oh, sweet. So how long are you staying in Colorado then?
Until Monday.
Oh, so you got fun things planned?
Family things, yes.
So nice. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. One of these days I got to get out to Colorado, but I want to go to the Shanley. So that's why I want to go out there. I mean, the Stanley Hotel.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Right, yeah, because it's up my alley. You know, even just for the nostalgia of it all, I want to
Right.
go there, even though it's not a really, like, technical haunted location. But,
Right.
still hotels and things and all those things are anyway. Wherever you go, it depends on your person. I attract them anyway. So
Again,
wherever I
terminology,
go, they're
right?
going to be.
Our places are inhabited. It's living beings, non-living beings, animal beings, plant beings, human beings, spirit beings.
Do you believe in reincarnation?
I do.
Awesome.
I don't know for sure, right? Like I don't know anything. I'm a baby in this world. Like I can't, I haven't, I'm always
You don't
cautious.
think you're an older soul?
No, I do. I mean, I do think I'm an older soul, and I've had lots of experiences of my own sense of places I've been before and things I've done before. So in the way that we use the word old soul, yes. But I also am always, as a human being, I feel like in the scheme of things, I'm a baby. Like we're all babies. Like, do I believe in
We're
reincarnation?
learning.
Yeah, but do I know for sure? I don't know.
No, I know. You get like, should I step on that bug? I mean, because really, different religions too will say, if you were really bad, you'll come back as this bug. You know what I mean? And if you were really good, then you can come back as a person, but you'd have to be really good to come back as a person. But usually, it's something else. And then sometimes these reincarnated souls could be our spirit animals.
Mm-hmm.
They're guiding us and helping us, and that's why we feel like when you have your animal and you say, "Oh my God, you're so human." You know exactly what I'm thinking, feeling, doing, and they're ready to jump on all your every emotion. And it's like, I wonder,
Right.
were you human?
And then is being human the pinnacle of existence? I really don't know, and that's why I say I there are things that I feel and
Our arrogance.
The arrogance, right? Like I'm evolving. I may know and learn something different, and I may have to come back hundreds of more times before I evolve to the place where.
I think we all do. Yeah, I think there's the ultimate place is that energy place where we're all just energy beings, and again coinciding nicely. Actually, a guy was talking about that on the show. Anthony Terezi. He has a lot of places that he visits,
Mm-hmm.
and one of them was a place like that where it's like all the beings are like just white beings, just energy,
Yeah.
and I think that's the ultimate morphing too. But I think you have to go through all the stuff. I don't know how many times or what it is you and really inevitably have to learn. I don't know. So
We've all
we'll
got
find out. We'll find out sometime. Maybe.
Hopefully we can help each other along the way, right?
I know. So this is the thing. People like you helping pull people out of themselves and back into themselves. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah. It's a tough road. It's a tough road that you chose, I think. Excuse me. But I think you're really good at it, and you're a person to do that, because people are very full of themselves, very arrogant, very well, my way is the right way, and this and that, and I've been practicing it this way, so I should do this way. Oh, are you coming on for the last minute, Mama? Excuse me, I'm losing my voice again. Do you want to come on? Come in? You want to try? Thumbs up, maybe? Let's see. We can see your face. Can we hear you?
She's there.
Hi. Hi. Thank you. Thank you for doing. Oh, you don't hear it?
Not 100%, no.
Oh. Well,
at least I got here.
You did to say goodbye to
Just
everybody.
Say good night, everybody.
Yeah. And thank you though. Thank you for doing what you did in the chat room and putting up all the links and everything. I appreciate it. And
you just find me somewhere.
Right. But
listening
again,
and I had to get this in. Waiting for the audios. You said, because I'll have to tell you that YouTube is slower than Facebook, but the audio was when you said you were going to drive and not have road rage, and that's when I went, I'll be listening to them.
Okay, yes. Yeah, I'll be texting Mama, and because she brings me right back down. She's so funny.
Okay.
I did not mean to hit that yet. But I wanted to say goodbye to everybody. Like my finger just went poof. I didn't hit it. I was just covering it. That's it. I was covering it, people. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut anybody off. I love you all dearly. But yeah. So, Mara, thank you so much. Hang with us for a couple minutes. We're gonna end the show. All her links are down below in here. Get in touch with Mara. Oh, we lost her again. Ay. All right, let me get rid of these banners and the banners so then I can play the exit video appropriately. Okay. All right. So, yeah, hang here and good night. We'll see y'all next week. Kimberly Meredith is our guest next week. She scans bodies, and she's got this eye blinky thing. If her right eye blinks or if her left eye blinks, we'll find out about that hopefully next week. So see you then. Thank you so much. You're just wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you again for joining us for another episode in the Fox Den. We're here every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you a variety of guests, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and our anchor venues. We would love it if you would go to our YouTube channel, The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, and please subscribe, share, and definitely hit the notification button to never miss a show. We'll see you all next week, and subscribers, watch for our pop-up shows as well.